Hello, a very good evening to you. Welcome to ITV News and to Friday night's calendar.
Hello, here are tonight's main stories.
Johnson floats it in for Aidan Flint! They've done it!
The comeback of all comebacks. Sheffield Wednesday defy the odds and an unforgettable night at Hillsborough.
I'm so proud of Sheffield Wednesday. We're going to Wembley!
Amazing! Smashed it! Absolutely smashed it! Off to Wembley! Go on!
I weren't going to come, I'm just glad I did. We always do it, it's the Wednesday way.
Also on calendar this evening.
Sofa surfing, the retired couple forced to live with elderly relatives after they were evicted from their rented home.
We're having to rely on people now, and I've never ever had to do that. I've always been the one to help them, not people help me.
Setting their stall out, the Mansfield traders encouraging young people to have a go at working on a market.
And the weekend is almost upon us, and weather-wise, do you know what? It's not looking too bad at all. All the detail a little later on.
Hello, thanks for joining us. First tonight to what many people are describing as the greatest football comeback of all time. Sheffield Wednesday made history last night, becoming the first team ever to overturn a 4-goal first-leg deficit in the playoffs.
Yes, roared on by a crowd of almost 32,000 fans inside Hillsborough, the Owls produced a performance of the ages, beating Peterborough 5-1 after extra time and then booking their place at Wembley after a penalty shootout. Chris Dawkes was there to see it.
Now to take Wednesday to Wembley!
Playoff pandemonium, the final act of a performance that not only brought the house down, but carried them over the hoardings and onto the Hillsborough pitch.
Have you ever seen anything like that before?
No. Fantastic. So exciting. And now...
A tenner on it. I've been coming to Hillsborough for 60 years and supporting Sheffield Wednesday, and that was the best ever game I have seen. And the last time my one came, they won 5-0. And I'm so proud of Sheffield Wednesday. We're going to Wembley!
4-0 down to Peterborough from the first leg, Wednesday needed to do something no other team had ever done in the 36-year history of the playoffs. But they couldn't have wished for a better start. Marvin Johnson fouled in the box, Michael Smith scoring the penalty. Game on. And 24 minutes in, the deficit was halved.
Falls to Patterson, turned in! And he's dragged Sheffield Wednesday back into this!
Half-time came and went, the clock ticked, Lee Gregory flipped, and just as hope was waning, it was restored.
Chasing forward, oh, great dummy! James is in! Wednesday have scored again!
One more goal needed, but as the game entered injury time, Peterborough's fans were already planning their trip to Wembley. But football can be both a cruel and wonderful game.
Johnson floats it in for Aidan Flint! They've done it! They have done it!
So this extraordinary game was extended by 30 minutes. Time for more drama, more twists.
Dangerously in! Peterborough in front! It's a better ball now for Jaden Brown to tee it up. Huge chance! Patterson draws them level!
5-1 the final score, 5-5 on aggregate. A penalty shootout to decide who would be going to Wembley. And in this game of high-stakes stare-down, it came down to who blinked first. And where Wednesday were ruthlessly decisive, Peterborough's Dan Butler was fatefully inaccurate. So at 5-11 at night, it was left to Jack Hunt to put the game to bed.
Well, that had to be the most nerve-shredding, breathtaking, heart-stopping game of football you're ever likely to see. And this lot, they were here to see it.
Yeah, jumpers with it.
I weren't going to come, I'm just glad I did. We always do it, it's the Wednesday way.
How was that tonight?
Amazing! Smashed it! Absolutely smashed it! Off to Wembley! Go on!
Yeah, the emotions are high, as you can imagine, Chris, because the game had everything involved in it, really. But I'm just proud of the boys. You know, I just give, God thanks, and the players thanks, and the staff thanks, and the supporters thanks. And, tonight's been a joint effort by everybody.
And see them at Wembley.
seeing them at Wembley.
Where yet more special memories can be made. But this was a night the 31,835 inside Hillsborough will never forget.
Some incredible scenes there, and Chris is with us in the studio. And Chris, I have to say, I've watched last night's calendar back and I've made some notes now here, because you said, and I quote, it would take a comeback akin to Lord Lucan riding through Hillsborough on Shergar. Do you take that back?
Guilty, that was me, but come on, it was mission improbable, wasn't it, from the start?
And you weren't the only one, were you?
I don't think so, no, everyone doubted it, and I think even the most optimistic of Wednesday fans would have struggled to see that one coming. If you'd have pitched that as a movie idea, I think they'd have laughed you out of the room. It was so implausible, no one thought it would happen, and yet it did, didn't it? A wonderful night for the football club, who haven't had much to cheer about over recent times, and credit must go to the man coming on your screen right now, Darren Moore, because he masterminded that when he stayed up late after that first leg defeat last Friday, and yet, you know, he got it all together, got the team playing, and what a fantastic result for Sheffield Wednesday. We could have an all South Yorkshire derby at Wembley a week on Monday. We'll have more on that later.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, funny old game, as they say. Thanks very much, Chris. Now, still to come on Friday's calendar, we look at the campaign to celebrate our local markets and the delights they offer. And find out the final total raised for charities by the first ever Rob Borough Marathon in Leeds last weekend.
Next, though, to the couple from Wakefield who are forced to spend their retirement sofa surfing with family and friends after being served with a so-called no-fault eviction.
Anne and John Slater had rented their home for over a decade, and now there's so much competition for rental properties that they simply can't find one within their budget. It comes after a move was made in Parliament to ban the Section 21 notices, but it'll take time. Helen Steele reports.
Anne and John Slater have already stayed in 4 different houses this week.
We're staying at my son's probably tonight.
So I don't want to put too much on that.
Brothers.
After 11 years in their rented home near Wakefield, they were given a Section 21 notice, allowing landlords to evict tenants for no reason. They're now homeless, with rental properties unaffordable, costing up to £1,200 a month.
All right, good situation, is it?
We're having to rely on people now, and I've never ever had to do that. I've always been the one to help them, not people like me.
Some nights they stay with Anne's 81-year-old mother, who now has to sleep downstairs.
We've got loads of stuff, as you can see, around Mum's room now. It's like I'm putting on Mum now. And having to bring a bed down just to make room for us to store our stuff, it's not on.
They're on the social housing waiting list, but what was once a safety net for families is now part of the problem. Well, housing charities blame a chronic lack of social housing for soaring rents. Shelter says huge council house waiting lists means demand for private rentals has ballooned. Here in Wakefield, there are more than 22,000 households on the waiting list. That means there's little hope for families like the Slaters.
What we are certainly calling for is for an increase in building of social housing. That's going to be a massive part of resolving the housing crisis.
Will she just give an undertaking to the House that this loophole will finally be ended?
MPs hope banning Section 21 evictions could provide one solution. A bill proposing to do that was published in Parliament this week.
So you've campaigned for this. Does this bill go far enough?
I predicted that the bill wouldn't go as far as it needs to go. At the moment, it allows a landlord still to evict you, kick a family out, if there's any likelihood that you might cause a nuisance.
Landlords themselves say a ban could in fact initially make homelessness worse.
If landlords and property owners don't have confidence to bring their property to the market in the first place because it's too complicated or because it's overtaxed or overregulated, then you've nothing left to regulate.
Well, that's what mums are for, isn't it?
Back in Wakefield, the Slaters are lucky they have a supportive family.
It wouldn't be a large amount of money if I had to do, sort of thing, you know. But I'd give them a last penny if it'd help them.
But they say they shouldn't have to spend their retirement relying on the kindness of family and friends. Helen Steele, ITV News in Wakefield.
Well, a spokesman for Wakefield Council said the rise of Section 21s and a cost of living crisis was adding to the housing crisis, and it's a problem facing all local authorities. It said it's building more homes, which it will allocate to those in the greatest need.
Next tonight, to calls for more support to prevent further knife crime tragedies after 2 teenage boys were jailed for life for murdering 15-year-old Kyrie McLean outside his school in Huddersfield.
Today, health leaders gathered in Leeds to discuss a scheme to bring youth workers into A&E departments to support victims of stabbings, amid reports children as young as 11 are being targeted. Jonathan Brown reports.
Murdered outside of his school gates. 8 months on from the loss of 15-year-old Kyrie McLean, the pain inflicted on this community is still visible at the place where he was stabbed to death. And as teenagers Jaquel Pusey and Giovanni Harriott begin life sentences for his murder, a statement by Kyrie's mother Charlie, read outside court yesterday, repeated a depressingly familiar call for change.
This violence has to stop. Carrying weapons, especially knives, has to stop.
But these people know there's little sign of that happening.
I think there's a question of, are we going young enough? At the moment, our service looks after 11 to 25-year-olds.
Today, Najib led the first national conference in Leeds, discussing a scheme that's seen youth workers employed at hospital emergency departments to help victims of violence.
The machete injuries are horrific. You know, these are powerful weapons. There's not only just the wounds, the soft tissue, but there's blunt force trauma as well. All you have to do is speak to nursing staff and other colleagues. You can see that they have been traumatised with what they've seen.
One of the people convicted and sent to prison for life yesterday was shot at the age of 12. If we'd had this scheme in place then, that person would have ended up in one of our major trusts in A&E, and maybe we would have been able to reach that person sooner.
Piloted in the city and now funded by the West Yorkshire Mayor at several hospitals, the initiative has seen more than 800 young people given support in Leeds' A&E alone since February 2021. And it's not just hospitals that are being targeted. We filmed this outreach session by Mark's not-for-profit boxing gym at Thornhill Community Academy in Dewsbury earlier this year. But during an event there this month, he suffered a heart attack. He says the stress of constant struggles for funding played a role.
Without the funding and support, we're going to fold.
Mark's been running free and subsidised boxing sessions for young people in Huddersfield for 25 years. The need for it, he believes, is stronger than ever.
The issues are still happening and it just really sickens me. Young people are just going out and just blatantly killing each other. Something has to stop. And again, the government, the police, society in general have to come together.
In a statement, a Home Office spokesperson said since 2019 we have invested £170 million into the development of violence reduction units in the 20 areas worst affected by serious violence, focused on tackling its root causes. So as the killers of Kyrie McLean begin decades behind bars, there's a hope that the senseless loss of life they caused will prove a warning to others not to carry weapons. Jonathan Brown, ITV News.
Yes, let's hope so. OK, let's go to the last of our films this week, featuring projects hoping to win up to £70,000 of National Lottery funding.
The People's Project is a collaboration between ITV and the National Lottery Community Fund, which highlights groups in our region doing great work bringing people together.
Tonight, it's the turn of Snaps, a Leeds charity that gives vital therapy to children with additional needs. We'll tell you how to vote after this.
This project is Snaps in our South Leeds site. It's a wonderful charity. It's a local charity that supports children with additional needs and their families. We provide life-changing physiotherapy that helps children meet goals that sometimes they've been told they won't ever achieve.
We've been coming here for 6 years because Penny's got cerebral palsy, and we've seen a massive improvement. When Penny first started, she was not walking, not standing, and since we've been coming here, balance has improved. Been able to bounce for the first time, which achieved ever so much because of Snaps. It's nice to see you enjoy it, isn't it?
I've been at Snaps 4 years. I've seen this project grow massively. From when I first started, we had 6 families. We've now got 56 families accessing us every week. All different abilities come to Snaps. It's such an incredible place.
I really like it because I get to meet new friends and the staff are always really nice.
We offer things like dance, which is great for the children to have fun with music, and football, which is really important because it gives children an opportunity to take part in a sports team, which every child should have the opportunity to take part in.
I love going here and it changed my life.
So Erin has a neurological condition called Joubert syndrome, and we've been coming since 2019, and during that time Erin's mobility has increased profoundly. We're so indebted to Snaps and everything that they've done for Erin. Without Snaps, I don't think Erin would be where she is today. The emotional support side of things is equally as important, because actually you're here with mums and dads that know how you're feeling and the trials and tribulations that come with being a parent of a child with additional needs.
If we were to win this money, it would pay for an entire year of delivery at our South Leeds project, which would just make an incredible difference. We already have over 200 families on the waiting list who are desperately in need of these services, and this funding would allow us to be there for those families and even more families across the city. Snaps makes life-changing progress for the children we support. There's nothing else like it in the city.
It's just so really nice place.
To see all our children smile, enjoy life and make friends is all that we ever ask.
The 3 projects with the most votes will receive a grant of up to £70,000 and the runners-up will be awarded up to £10,000. To vote, go to ITV.com, The People's Project. Voting closes at 12 noon on Friday the 26th of May. You can only vote once per region and you'll need an email address or a mobile phone number to vote. Terms and conditions and the privacy notice can be found on the website.
Now, Ian, this is a bit nosy of me, but when was the last time that you went to your local market?
Can't believe you're apologising for being nosy.
Curious.
Always asking me questions. You are putting me on the spot. I quite like actually walking through Leeds Market because it's amazing what you can find in there. All sorts of things. I like the fish counter. Fascinating.
Oh, that's good. That's good, because part of Love Your Local Market fortnight is to help traders. Traders that we're featuring in Mansfield Market are inviting people to come and show some love for local businesses.
Quite right too. And the campaign, which is taking place in more than 24 countries worldwide, is all about celebrating markets and finding the next generation of traders. Catherine Walker reports.
Selling everything from bags to brownies, England has a rich tradition of markets. And in Mansfield, it's a job that Sue has treasured for more than 3 decades.
I have done all other markets in the past, but Mansfield is my favourite. I am a Mansfield girl. I like Mansfield people, and I've got some very loyal customers that's always shop with me and still do. So I'm really grateful for that.
The UK has more than 1,000 local markets, bringing more than £3 billion to the economy. But without new traders, the industry is worried about their future.
So we need to build a new generation of market traders. As you go around the markets, you'll probably find that many market traders are getting sort of older. So Love Your Local Market is about attracting the younger generation and showing them that markets can make a very attractive employment and business opportunity.
Part of that plan involves giving young traders like Ellie a chance to try out their own stall in York.
I'm finding it really good. It's nice to have like the customer interaction face to face, because I was on a website, but it's nice coming in person. There's so many opportunities. I found it's kind of a bit of a network here, and interacting with the customers, trying new flavours and seeing how they go down.
For transformation guru Debbie, it's also about attracting a new generation of shoppers.
So we do regular customer surveys and we'll be looking to recruit traders selling specific goods. So things like your fruit and veg are always going to be popular, but in terms of other things like arts and crafts, so it's really about the customer. What does the customer need and want, and making sure that we provide that.
In Mansfield, it's all about supporting local traders.
Well, we're local people and we've always used local stores and the local market.
They know what you want, you know what they want. It's just lovely.
Well, it's to keep the economy going in that local place. If you're shopping elsewhere, it's wrong, isn't it?
It's for our economy, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So we'll thrive.
Full of independent businesses, markets have been at the heart of society since the Middle Ages. This fortnight is all about securing that heritage for the future. Catherine Walker, ITV News.
And market traders, of course, are out in all weathers, aren't they?
Yes, they're always praying for good weather. Are they going to get it this weekend,
A
Kerry?
good market weekend, I reckon. I'm sticking to my story. We were a bit disappointing, weren't we, today? We had some showery outbreaks of rain. It was a little bit cloudy. But heads up for this week, certainly this weekend, in fact, much of the week ahead, but definitely the weekend, we've got a UV of 6 or 7. We rarely get to 8. So even if you've got high cloud, even if there's a bit of a breeze, even if it feels cooler than it actually is, it's strong, and you will burn, so do take care. Now, everything has to grow, so all the gardeners and growers are going to need watering cans and hose pipes over the next 5-6 days because it looks dry. Alan Thompson had to compromise with his wife of 50 years because she didn't like the no-mow May and he did. So there you go, a heart-shaped meadow. Oh. How cool is that? Now, yesterday we mentioned World Bee Day. We did. Not World Bee Day, All Royal.
Love it.
Cheeky. It is Friday, so we love it. Yeah, it's World Bee Day, so celebrating the planet's pollinators and what they can do for our local community ecosystem. So a big thank you. They are hard to photograph, so a big thank you to Philip for this one, to Ian for this one, and also to Rose for this one, and also to Kerry for this one, a
beautiful.
bee and bleeding heart. So yeah, always welcome a bee all through the summer. Weather photos at itv.com.
Thank you, Kerry. We'll hear from you later. Now, we heard a little earlier from Chris about Sheffield Wednesday's remarkable comeback at Hillsborough, didn't we? But now it's time to focus on who they might be up against in the playoff final.
Well, we could be looking at a South Yorkshire derby as Barnsley are also looking to book their place at Wembley. Their second leg is against Bolton in just over an hour, and Arif Ahmed is there for us this evening. Arif, good evening to you. What are Barnsley's chances?
Evening, Ian. Well, Barnsley's chances are much better than what Sheffield Wednesday's chances were this time yesterday. But Barnsley will be open for a less dramatic game than what unfolded at Hillsborough yesterday as they look to book their place in the League One playoff final. Now, this game is finally poised after last week's first leg. Barnsley now led in that game just for a short while when Nicky Cadden opened the scoring, but they were pegged back by Bolton. That game finished 1-1, so it's all to play for here at Oakwell, and that home advantage makes Barnsley slight favourites. And as you can hear the band behind me, they're warming up the atmosphere here, as that's because manager Michael Duff called on the fans to bring the noise tonight for the final home game of this season, as he hopes their influence can make the difference on the pitch.
It's our job to entertain the supporters, but I think in these types of games, I think the supporters have a job. The supporters have a duty to turn up and give everything for 90 minutes, because like I said, this is 10 months worth and a lot of money for supporters and a lot of time and a lot of miles on the road. Well, now's your chance to give one last push.
Well, all this talk of who might get to Wembley, one team that will definitely beat Wembley this weekend are Halifax Town. They'll be playing in the FA Trophy. Now, they take on Gateshead down at the National Stadium on Sunday as they look to end a difficult season with a trophy, as Halifax look to win this competition for the first time since 2016.
You don't want to be a loser at Wembley. So, we're mindful of the fact that with all the sort of celebration and enjoyment there is around getting to Wembley, we've still got a job to do. We've won nothing yet. We've achieved something in getting to the final, but nobody remembers the runner-up, do they? It's all about winning it on the day, and that's our focus now.
And let's not forget again about Bradford. They're also in playoff action this weekend.
OK, Arif, thank you very much indeed. Live there at Oakwell.
Now, finally, if you were one of the thousands of runners who took part in the first Rob Burrow Leeds Marathon last Sunday, well, we've got some fantastic news. Many of you were running to raise money for more than 340 charities. Well, today organisers have revealed more than £4 million has been made. A large chunk of the cash will go towards motor neurone disease research and to build a new MND centre in Rob's name. Congratulations to everyone who took part in that marathon and everyone who supported it, and all the volunteers too.
Yes, well done. Now then, the weather with Kerry.
Good visibility on the horizon.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again, the weekend is almost upon us and can rain or shine this week. We've had some lovely landscape photos. A big thank you to Andrea Gray for this one, taken at Farnhill Moor in the Yorkshire Dales. And also a big thank you to Tracy Roberts for this, taken earlier in the week in Filey. Now, not wall-to-wall sunshine for everybody as we head into the weekend, but it should be mostly dry. It will feel warm inland in any sunny spells, and just a coastal breeze pegging back the feel of things slightly, and a slightly elevated chance of getting a bit more cloud off the North Sea over the next few days, but still some sunshine here. This was the story today. Quite a bit of cloud around to start the day, showery outbreaks of rain initially. Then we saw some warmer, sunnier spells develop, and then down that Pennine spine, a few heavy showers. But everything is easing away now over the next few hours and will be replaced by lower cloud being brought in off the North Sea into the second half of the night. So there could be some mist and fog in places as we head towards dawn, and a slightly cooler night down into single figures for all, rural lows of around 5 or 6 Celsius. There are sun times for tomorrow, 4:57 and 9:09. Morning cloud perhaps, but soon burning back, and after around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, pretty much a massive dose of blue sky and sunshine for all. Sea breezes helping with the pollen count to lower it, but we are expecting here still the average for the time of year, and inland an 18 or a 19 possible, with just those light to moderate easterly breezes. As we head through into tomorrow night and through into Sunday, very similar story. This front stays to the northwest, the cloud stays to the south, maybe a bit of low cloud in off the North Sea, but for most of us dry and sunny, and it stays dry over the coming few days.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
Yes, sea breezes helping with pollen counts at the coast. Inland, the grass pollen is actually low over the next few days, but with the dry and warm conditions, it could pop up to moderate. Take care. There you go, that's your forecast, and I've popped some of those bee photos on our website on a little article.
Oh, lovely, that'll be good to look at, thank you.
Yeah, I'll have to look at them now. Have a great weekend, won't you? See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.